Good evening. Good evening. Happy September on this wonderful Monday evening. Hello, welcome to another Drama is Life, where we talk about mental health and social topics in regards to the lifespan and what was in the past, what is currently going on in the present, and how it can affect us in the future if nothing changes. Speaking of change, guess what we're going to talk about tonight? Change. Um, Since we are about to enter fall, we're going to have a conversation about change in relation to it being National Recovery Month. So I hope you can join us and take a few notes. Hopefully, you learn some things this evening. The goal for tonight, as always, with every trauma is life, is for us to increase awareness among the community in our area or whoever may be watching so that you can use that information to be better in your own life or to share it with somebody else. Also, with regards to bringing an increase in awareness, we hope to decrease the stigma of mental health among our communities, particularly in our African American and faith based communities. So, again, please like, share, and subscribe. So, you ever heard somebody say, like, change? I just don't do change well, y'all. I don't do change well. I like what I like, and I'm gonna keep doing what I like. When I was a child, when things were encouraged for us to do, whether it was, and I would think about it when I was trying to learn how to tie my shoe. At times that I felt like when I didn't know how to do something, I haven't developed that skill yet, haven't been taught, haven't learned. Good evening, Mother Nellum. I haven't learned the skill of tying my shoe. And so what I ended up doing was, of course, having my older sibling, my sister, my father had promised her some bubble gum, I think, or something to help me tie my shoes. But before that, trying to learn a new skill was not easy. Of course, I just was like, give me the Velcro. Velcro's easy, right? How many people remember when they used to have children with shoes? And I don't know if they still do this now, but the children have Velcro shoes. I ain't got to tie a shoe. Boop. It's stuck. Let's go. I ain't got to sit here and try to tie two strings together and try to make it like a bow and look nice and not one string longer than the other string. It's falling off and I'm tripping over my feet. Just put on them Velcro shoes. But there came a point that I was getting a little older, which means I was maturing. And in maturing, I needed to change my attire. So we talk about change. But the issue that I was having with that, y'all, is as a child, I was like, this is hard. I don't want to do it. So how many people, maybe this is just me, so you can just kind of put it off on me. You ain't got to tell on yourself if you don't want to. But when I was struggling with change, I was started pouting as a child does. I don't want to do this. My lips get poked out and you pounding on whatever you pounding on. We couldn't pound too loud because my parents didn't allow that. But but if I was with my siblings, like this is hard. I don't want to do this. And so, as the title for tonight is "Change is Hard." You do it. That's exactly what you know. What I don't want. I don't want to do this. You do it because you think it's so easy, right? That's what I. Of course, my siblings knew how to tie their shoe. I was the one that didn't know so at the time because I was younger. But it was like, this is hard. And so the cop out that I was using was saying, since it's hard, I don't want to do it. I'm refusing to do it. I'm pouting. I'm having a horrible emotional response, physical response, whether I'm stomping, pouting, making my faces, whatever I'm doing. And then ultimately, I throw the responsibility onto somebody else. You do it. It's too hard for me, so I want you to do it. And a lot of times when it comes to change, I know we're, kind of looking at the seasonal change too. Fall is coming. And again, I'm going to just admit I'm somebody who like warm weather. And fall is a reminder that cold is coming. So I have a little aversion to fall. I got some family members who really enjoy, um, they really enjoy fall. And I'm like, fall's okay, but can we like keep it at the beginning where it's warm? Whole different topic for a different live, y'all. But the point that I'm making is even though I'm pushing against it, I don't want to do this, fall is still coming. Now I can continue to have the response that I'm having and fight against it, or I can learn the skills that I need so that I can be a healthy person during fall. Because I can't wear the same attire that I wore in spring and summer and fall because the weather is changing, which means the atmosphere is changing. And so I need to learn skills, put a jacket on, got to put on pants, you got to put on your sweatshirt, whatever that may be. There's new skills that needs to be exercised, or muscles in our system that needs to be exercised so that we can adapt to change. How does that relate to tonight's topic? When it comes to September is National Recovery Month, Awareness Month. And so I want to come at, because I'm an addiction counselor, so let me back up a little bit and introduce. Hello, I'm Theresa White, if I didn't already say that. I am the CEO and founder of In Time Creative Counseling Services and the host of Drama is Life, where we do this every Monday night and have this conversation about mental and social topics. If you're interested in our services, please reach out to us during regular business hours. You can go to our website at intimeccs.com and find out more about our services, about drama therapy, the expressive arts, or if you need the regular traditional talk therapy, we do that as well. But one of the things that I also am is I'm an addiction counselor in addition to drama therapy, a drama therapist. And in addictions, I hear from the family and supporters perspective. Like this is what the plan is, right? So say you've been to the hospital or you've been in treatment and they're saying for your loved one, do A, B, and C. I need you to go from this substance to something healthier. And that sounds, because again, that sounds great, right? But that's not easy for somebody who has continually had a pattern of behavior, for one thing. So I'm gonna just give you a demonstration. We talk about change is hard. So in this cup, I'm gonna take this straw out. Which I think this is. Anybody want to take a guess at what this is? Which I think this is? You probably guessed right. Yes, it's coffee. Boom. Water. And I ain't endorsing no certain type. This is just regular purified water. Now, I'm going to use the example of particularly alcohol or drinking. That's one of the most prevalent um, addictions in America, probably in the world as well. And it's also one of the most difficult, besides nicotine, to break when it's been habitually used. And the longer it's been used, the more medically dangerous it is to stop it on its own, which is why you need outside professionals and help to get there. So, say, we got the treatment plan. Say we've been through all that. You went to the hospital, you got the treatment, you saw a medical professional, and now here's the plan. The plan is change. Change this drink, and let's say this is alcohol. Change this drink to this drink. Okay, that sounds good in theory. That's what I want to do. I really want to drink more water. I really want, I know that water is refreshing, it's good for my organs. I know all the knowledge about why I should change. Anybody been there? You know the why. I know why I should drink water, but I'm struggling. This caffeine, it wakes me up. It tastes better, right? So let's look at, again, this is my metaphor for alcohol, but let's break it down to just using coffee. Anybody ever drank coffee for a long period of time and then all of a sudden, what they call these intermittent fasts, or you just decided I'm not going to drink coffee for a while, and you went a day, or you've been drinking coffee for a minute? What kind of responses does your system have? I would love to hear some feedback for those who may know. What do you think coffee drinkers' responses are if they stop drinking coffee and go to something else? And let's look at, because it's really the caffeine. Caffeine is a struggle. I'm gonna stop drinking this caffeine and I'm gonna drink, but I know I should drink. This is so refreshing, but I'm gonna try to change over. And this is sweet, right? This tastes sweet. It's warm and I'm cold. and it's what my body's used to. So when I drink this, I don't feel any negative or what I would call conflicting responses. And absolutely, Terry, withdrawal. Some of the withdrawal symptoms that you may have for caffeine: headaches. I've had people who have severe caffeine addiction to have shakes because they don't have the caffeine in their system. Drowsiness. And again, these are things that also show up for those who have alcohol addiction. You telling me to stop. And now, okay, I know I should drink this and I really want to because I want to do better for my family, for myself, for whatever my reason is. Let me try this. I'm going to really try this, y'all. Mm. Oh, that's Now personally, I love water, but it definitely tastes very different than coffee. So first of all, let's look at the real reason physically. It tastes better. So my taste buds have gotten used to this drink, whether it's real coffee, which it actually isn't here, but if we use that metaphor as alcohol, my taste buds, literally my physical taste buds, have gotten used to this drink. And now you're telling me to change it and just be okay with drinking this. And you're like, well, just do it, Theresa. You know, you need to just drink your water because you don't want to go back to the hospital because you want to do. Mm, a lot of things are easier said than done, right? Because if change was easy, everybody would be doing it. So what people, you know what? You drink the water. People start pushing the things back on you because it's frustrating and it's frustrating and irritating your system to giving you headaches. You can't sleep. So your whole body is starting to fight against the fact that you're making a change. Okay? Now, when I say that, because I want us to actually get a view of what it's like. So I want you to think for yourself, something that you've done over and over and over again for years that you thought about, I really want to change this, whether it's eating candy. I'm going to show you. So Oreos, yes, they're the mini ones. Chocolate tastes good, right? If I want to lose weight or I want to eat something better, I need to change this. So I'm going to eat some fruit. It don't taste the same though. And I ain't going to open it up tonight, but I just want to show you. A lot of times, this is, and I know what Oreo tastes like. It's chocolatey. It tastes good. It's sweet. And I'm talking about like the kind of sweet that's like, ooh, really, really strong sweet. This is sweet, but it's nowhere near the level of sweetness that the Oreos are. And the reason why I'm using this metaphor is because that's exactly what addiction is like for people. Again, I'm used to the potency of this, whatever that could be their substance, with the potency of heroin, the potency of alcohol, the potency of what I'm used to how it makes me feel. I like my sugar, right? So we're gonna just call this my sugar. This is, I like my sugar and I like my alcohol or my coffee, right? I like it. And so I like it and I don't want to change it. I like how it makes me feel. I ain't got to think about my problems. I ain't got to think about how the day's been. If you getting on my nerves, that's all right. Keep talking. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be inebriated quick, enough to be able to calm myself down to deal with you. Now, again, most people who start using any type of substance, whether it's alcohol, um, heroin, crack, whatever it may be, painkillers, and the list goes on. Marijuana. When people start using substances, most of the time people are not using it thinking, let me get addicted to the point that it's going to ruin my life. Nobody walks in thinking that. Sometimes you walk in because people may drink because they're hurting. They want to have a good time with their friends and thought, okay, I'll just have me a drink. So people talking about peer pressure. Peer pressure is still a thing, a huge thing. So as I talked about with my example as a child, I didn't have the skills. You're trying to get me to tie shoe. And I'm not used to that. I'm used to the easier way of just putting on this Velcro. I like this shoe, put on the Velcro and let's go. It didn't take as much time. It didn't cause my hands to hurt. I didn't get frustrated. All these feelings of irritation, all the things that are happening when you're trying to get me to learn something new, even though I know it's good for me. Even though I know, and I may, again, have the knowledge that this is going to help me. But in the moment, it sure don't feel like it. Anybody ever been there? Anybody been there? Like, I know I need to do better. I need to, it's study. I need to whatever, right? I need to do all these things, and it just doesn't feel good. So I'm sharing this with you because a lot of times when I'm talking to the family members or the supports, so they can be friends, whoever it may be, right? They sometimes are not looking with an empathetic eye of like, this is hard because they have been in a place of hurt as well. So when we talk about recovery, recovery is not just happening inside of a bubble. It's not just happening with one person. Recovery happens in a community, the same way addiction happens in a community. Even if you're drinking at home by yourself, it still can affect other people depending on how your response are. Um, and I'll explain in just a minute because a lot of times when we um, have different things, it affects our relationships. So if I'm drinking at home by myself, um, maybe I'm not really talking to people as much. Maybe I'm not talking to my family. Maybe I'm withdrawing. I mean, it could be all kind of reasons, right? And so I say that because that's still affected, even though I'm doing it by myself. That still affects other relationships, right? So I say that because on the outside, it may look like, okay, yes, or we have supports. And I say on the outside, but the supporters are looking like just change because this is what you need to do. You know it's better for you. You know you need to, instead of eating these Oreos three, so you need to eat this fruit. Yes, I know that it may be better, but my taste buds, and I say that not only naturally, but also metaphorically, my physical taste buds have gotten used to this. And so now when it comes to training and putting on a whole new muscle, I have to actually rework my system. And that takes time. And that's going to take, some responses that my system is not used to because I've been used to getting what I want. I've been used to whatever the situation may have been before. And so even when I'm changing for the better, I'm changing for healing purposes, I'm changing to make my life better and to be where I want to be. That doesn't mean that it's easy. And I say that because sometimes when we're looking at someone who's changing or trying to make or taking steps to improve or to put in a new pattern of behavior, sometimes we're not gracious with ourselves and we're not gracious with other people either. They should just immediately get it. I give you 1 or 2 kind of days to be frustrated, but that's as much as you get. I need you to get it together. I need you to go ahead and put that alcohol down. I need you to go ahead and, pick up this water or drink, better. I need you to eat this fruit. I need you to eat this instead of eating this. And anybody knows, like, if off firsthand, most people, again, I'm probably not picking great things, but for myself, I actually love fruit. I love peaches and I like Oreos too. But um, that was something that, again, that wasn't something that was easy to do. I had to really change my taste buds to start to like the sugar, the natural sugars in fruit. Now, of course, this one is probably a bad example because it's packaged. But if you go get fresh vegetables and fruit, I mean, not fresh vegetables, but fruit, they have a natural sugar to it. And I say that because there's been times where I were in college and we did a fast. Um, and we did a 40-day fast, y'all. 40 days. People talk about it takes 21 days to change a habit, right? Or to start, to kind of solidify a pattern. 40 days. And I remember the 40 days was we couldn't have sugar and we could only drink water. And you know the mistake that most people make, as we all do when we're told we can't have something, to the very last minute, we are binging on sweets and drinking all the Kool-Aid and pop and stuff we can drink, or soda if you call it soda. We're filling up on all the things we can have. And so then the next day we go into what we call withdrawal. Next couple of days, we're going to drink water and have no sugar. And you talking about irritable. You don't want to be around nobody. You don't want to talk to nobody. And yes, you may be eating things or drinking things, but it's not what your system is used to. And so I say that because agitation, irritability is a huge withdrawal symptom. It's not, people are not just irritable because they're trying to get on your nerves on purpose. Their system really is irritated with the fact that you're trying to change me. You're trying to not give me what I want. This is what we've been doing for 20 years, Theresa. Why all of a sudden you want to give me peaches instead of Oreos? Give me Oreos. It's so much easier to just bite this Oreo. You know, you ain't got to go through all this. And I'm saying that because the more intense the addiction, the more intense the withdrawals. And so that means the more intense the empathy and the patience has to be of those who are supporting them. That yes, you know what, you going, and I say that because I'm gonna give a couple of withdrawal symptoms for it, particularly alcohol. Um, it definitely, you know, you can have shakes, um, and severe symptoms when we talk about irritability and the shakes. Severe symptoms can also be hallucinations, um, and convulsions can go into. Shakes can go into convulsions, and then also hallucinations. It goes from confusion and people start hallucinating. And I'm saying off of alcohol. You think drinking alcohol is like, oh, but no, coming off of it. This is how adverse the symptoms can be when you are trying to give change to what has not been changed. And so when we say like, you know, you thinking, okay, just I need to do this abruptly, just completely to cut this off. And some people that works really well. They can do what we call cold turkey and just completely stop. And that's wonderful. But everybody's system don't have that same response. Some people, again, as I'm trying to tie my shoe and I'm trying to get my fingers together with these two strings and crisscross them and flip them under, as I'm trying to hear instructions and then also get my body. And I'm using that as a simple example because when it comes to change, and I'm saying this with regards to recovery, but you can apply this to anything you're trying to change, anything that you're trying to replace. This with some, I know this is better. I have the knowledge that this is going to work for me. I know it is. And I know you're telling me that, even if I ain't never really drank wine, I ain't really never been a water person, but I'm going to trust you because you're the professional, or I'm going to trust you because you're my help or whatever, right? But this coffee sure smell good, tastes good. And I say that because every single sense that shows up, or every sense is activated when it comes to a substance or addiction. No, smell, sight, all of these can have a response. The same way with coffee. I used to wake up to my mother brewing coffee. Like you can smell it. Like, you know, the the best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. And again, I'm not advertising Folgers, but that song, because you can just smell it, right? And they had the commercial with the deep breath in. Like it's just so refreshing to drink this caffeine. Yeah, if you drink the caffeine over and over and over, 2 or 3 times a day, and then all of a sudden you say, well, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go 40 days with no coffee. I'm going to go 2 weeks with no coffee. Mentally, your brain is saying, all right, motivation, we strong, we can do this, right? We got it. And then you go pick up your water. Ooh, this don't taste like coffee. This don't taste like coffee at all. And I say that because we have to be mindful and be patient to give our system the same way it took your system a chance to, you know, get used to drinking coffee or starting to drink this alcohol. You know, the first time I never had the best taste, you might have had to be like, that wasn't that great. You got to keep doing the same thing over and over. Keep what's the word I'm looking for? Exposing your system, your taste buds, um, to this new thing, and that's not going to be easy. And so you're going to have the headaches, depending on what you're getting. If it's sugar, absolutely, because the most addictive thing in the world is sugar. Strongest addiction in the world. So yeah, if you're trying to shift sugar, especially white sugar, let me clarify. If I'm trying to shift, not eating as much sugar or cutting sugar out altogether, I'm gonna have symptom responses like it, or withdrawal responses like anyone else who would have an addiction of something different. I'm gonna have headaches. I'm gonna be irritable, and so a lot of times that mimics or model what it looks like when you let go of caffeine. And sometimes what it looks like when you let go of alcohol, alcohol just has a few more symptoms, which like shakes and things like that. Caffeine can have the shakes as well. So I want you to be mindful. If you know anybody, you're working with anybody, and they really are trying to like, hey, I'm really trying to do this. And you're not trying. You went straight back to the alcohol. Well, and I'm not trying to excuse people's behaviors, but it's like sometimes you went straight back to the Oreos because it was easier. It was easier just to pick this up because then I won't have the system responses. And I say system because it ain't just physical. It's emotional, it's mental, my thoughts. I can't shut my thoughts down. That's why I was drinking in the first place. Or, I feel it makes me feel good when I eat these Oreos. I don't have to worry about, I don't think about my problems. I just think about how good the Oreos taste. I don't think about whatever, right? Whatever the thoughts may be that are not helping or for me to not making me feel good. And so a lot of times a substance is a cover for something that I'm really not trying to deal with at the time. And so the change that's hard, not only is my system responding to the fact that I'm giving it something new and taking away what it's been used to, it's also like now those things are starting to rise that I was able to cover up in the first place. Now my thoughts are coming up. Now when I really think about myself is coming up, and I ain't got Oreos to hide that. I'm dealing with fruit. These peaches. Now I don't have the coffee to wake me up, and now I'm dealing with how tired I really am and how groggy or the lack of sleep. I'm faced with the real fact that I have insomnia issues and I'm not sleeping well at night and I'm not getting enough sleep. I'm dealing with the irritability or the fact that I don't feel loved, whatever it may be for somebody. And so we have to be mindful that it's not just what you see on the outside. Withdrawal can be happening internally when we're talking about trying to get to recovery. Recovery, which means I'm trying to get something back that I didn't have before. Sometimes with recovery, it's not just trying to get something back, because recovery means to get it back. Sometimes it's like my shoe, and I'm trying to get this, trying to tie these shoes. I don't know why that was my example today, but we're going to work with it. I'm not recovering. I'm getting something brand new. I'm getting a whole new skill that I never had before. And that is more difficult than getting something that I used to have that I just have forgotten to use. I used to remember how to tie my shoe. Like right now, if I go back to tying my shoe because I've been wearing flats or, boots or heels or whatever, I can go to tie my shoe because I've done it before. You know what I mean? It may not be as fast as it was if I was doing it every day, every 2 or 3 times a day, but I can still do it because the memory is in my system. What happens when I didn't have the skills in the first place to deal with all these things that are happening in my life, all the things that are happening in my mind and in my body and in my family and in relationships and all on my job, I didn't have the skills. This was my skill. This was my skill. Right? So now you're telling me like I gotta do something new. I mean, I know I need to, but I don't have the memory blueprint in my system, in my emotions, in my mind, in my body to be able to say, oh, we remember doing that, Theresa, let's do that. My system is going to be like, I don't know what this is. Get this out of here. And it's going to give you all the things to push against something new. So I say all that to say this. Sometimes it is important, even as those who are supporting recovery, and that's recovery in addictions, in any addiction recovery, but also when you're trying to recover and make changes for health yourself. When you're making healthy changes in your life, whether it's relationships, whether it's food, whether drink, whether it's actually an illicit substance, there's going to be times that it's not going to feel great. If it's real change for health, it ain't going to feel great. But I'm going to encourage you to be patient with yourself and get some supports that's going to be patient with you and also be able to give you some compassion and be with you when it's really difficult to not pick this up over this. Because when I'm by myself and don't nobody see me, I ain't got nobody to help me fight what's going on in my mind. If my mind is saying this coffee is better, this alcohol is better, this weed is better, this cocaine's better, this heroin's better, this pills, I'm tired of the pain, I'm tired of being in pain. I just want the pain to go away. I just need one pill. There's nobody to help me fight what's going on in my mind. Because if I could do it by myself, a lot of people would have already done it. So be willing again, if you're going to walk recovery with somebody, and if you're in recovery for yourself, one of the main things that we talk about as an addiction counselor, and again, my specialty or my population that I've worked with is adolescents. I work with adults as well, but the most experience that I've had is with adolescents. And so that support system is huge, huge. If everybody in my support system is saying, you know what, Theresa, just forget it, drink that coffee. Because we tired of you being irritated and cussing us out. We tired of just drink the coffee. All right, then. That's all you have to say, thank you. But if I got somebody like a sponsor in AA, I got somebody to say, you know what, we're going to sit with you. Like you having a shakes, I'm going to hold you. I'm going to sit with you and talk to you. I'm going to be with you even when it's uncomfortable. Because then when you see them walk through those hard times, and then it's like easier to pick this up, easier to grab the other thing beside what the previous addiction was or the previous issue was, then you have a part in the celebration because you know you were there to support, there to encourage, and there to give compassion and empathy. Again, sometimes for yourself, but a lot of times for those who are struggling. So change, I know we all know change is hard, but it's sometimes hard to watch people change too. So, especially with addiction, that's difficult to watch a loved one go through withdrawals, to watch a loved one to go through the struggle of making the change and all the things that come with that nobody else really sees in the background, but you do. And so, we're here to give kudos to all those who are helping people in recovery, all the workers and recovery specialists, all the addiction counselors. I know September is the month, but I'm going to say this is a work that lasts all year, every day. The same way we talked about last week with suicide awareness. It doesn't just happen, in the month, just once a month. We just want you to be aware so that it continues, that you are mindful of what to look for, that you know how to respond when you start to see those issues. So thank you all for being here tonight and indulge in my wonderful examples. I really appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great, great night. And I will see you all hopefully on our next Drama is Life. And hopefully I'm doing better. Change is hard, y'all. So you do it. Bye-bye.